being self-aware and knowing, Guti, okay, this is where I lack and this is where I want to be better. And I like also what Relax said about, accepting that part of you. First, it's the acceptance starts with you, and then once you're able to be vulnerable with you, you can most probably also be vulnerable with others, because now you're living your truth. You're living you. Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Giving Spring Podcast. Today we are going to be discussing what it means to be vulnerable and what it means to feel understood.
I'm looking forward to this topic. I think it's a very great topic because we don't really discuss how vulnerability can be difficult, and as well as being understood after even being vulnerable. So please do sit back, relax, and enjoy. And today, obviously, you guys can see we have a familiar face. So welcome back, Thabo.
Thank you.
And we have Relax behind the scenes.
Hello.
Ask him, why does he want to be behind the scenes?
Truly disappointment. Okay. Okay. So for our first question, when you hear the word vulnerable, what comes up for you first? Is it fear, freedom, or something else?
That's a good one. I would say freedom. Being free with those around you. Yeah.
Okay, Relax.
Vulnerability, especially for me as a man. I remember there's certain stigmas and all sorts of issues associated with a man being vulnerable. So now, in this day and age, we are seeing there's a lot of mental issues. So we have to be vulnerable, even though we are men. We are told a man shouldn't cry, a man shouldn't open himself up. Now we have to be open because we are suffering internally. We have wounds people can see. So it's very important that we open ourselves to someone. Maybe not everyone, but to somebody.
Fair. For me, when I think about it, I feel like it can be all of the above. I feel like it can be quite fearful. It can be quite freeing at the same time, because not everyone is going to play the role that they are supposed to play when you're being vulnerable towards them. So, for instance, I could be vulnerable to you and you accept and appreciate my vulnerability and you treat it with respect. But then if maybe I share with Thabo, it's a different circumstance, and now maybe I'm not sure if my vulnerability was in a safe space. So it can be fearful and freeing. Yeah.
I think in a way it can also be uncomfortable.
Very.
Like exposing yourself, basically. It's like you're coming clean and telling people exactly who you are or how it is that you feel. And I think in a way it can be uncomfortable.
I agree. And what did you learn about vulnerability growing up?
Personally, it goes back to what you just, both said now, or mentioned. I remember there's a period of time when I had a friend who would be vulnerable with me, and they did not feel comfortable with that. In such a way that they felt that, they're getting too attached.
No.
Yeah, and for them it felt dangerous, if I may say.
Fair.
Yeah, they never know if I would betray them, if I could be trusted with that. But then I say, if it comes naturally, even if you trying to hide or, not being vulnerable around that person, I say that means you trust them. Yeah, it's just a matter of, you battling with your thoughts, your mind, thinking that, this person may, betray me.
When I read this question about what does vulnerability mean when you are growing, does your home strengthen it or does your home weaken the vulnerability? And immediately I thought of Jada Pickett Smith, the Smith family, yeah,
The red table.
yes, with the red table talk. I was just like, I don't know, is this a good concept to open up all conversations, you know, and we just speak on it on the table, and then when you go out, like whatever happens at the table stays at the table. I thought it was a good concept, but at the same time a little bit scary because it does require a lot of vulnerability and a lot of honesty. Like, you leave all your dark thoughts on that red table, that red table. So yeah.
And also because it's like 3 generations, like their families, so that's like even weird. Like I don't think I'd be comfortable with my grandmother like just sitting at the table, and so
You see,
yeah, that was new.
it was.
Personally, I think it's a good thing in such a way that, whatever you do at home, it determines how you're gonna, be like out there in the world.
Okay.
So it's gonna be easier for you to be able to open up. Of course, as you go older, you need to be able to set boundaries, to know what to share or what not to share. But then it becomes easier because I know of people who are old, or I may say adults, but then they can't even, share things. They bottle things up, which they're battling with that. It's a challenge. It's because of their upbringing, where they're coming from. They can't even share. So if the family set such environment, it's a good example, foundation. Yeah.
Funny enough, I think I saw a clip of that this morning. Some clips on TikTok. Will Smith coming up, out of this situation that he was in. Now it had me thinking. Most of us, we don't want to disappoint those we are close with.
Yeah.
Again, so coming out with such things that you were not doing that they didn't know of. Now, especially after so many years, it can sort of put them in such a way that they're not really ready how to react to that sort of as a situation. So it takes a lot of personal trust as well, or whatever this person reacts, or however they react to this sort of thing that I'm revealing to them, that they need to be you need to be happy with it. They might like the reaction, they might not like it, but you have to be courageous enough to open yourself up to it.
I have a follow-up question, actually, just as you're speaking, right? For me to truly accept your vulnerability, does that mean I need to be reactionless?
I was gonna ask the same question, like what do we expect? Like when you speak or you are being vulnerable with someone, what do you expect the reaction to be or look like?
Yeah.
I guess we never really know because we haven't shared this thing with you before. So even with me confessing whatever I did to you, I can't really say I sort of know or hope a certain reaction from you. I guess it's just a matter of me maybe trusting that whatever you react, eventually you will come to terms with it somehow, whenever you can. But I can't necessarily say I expect you to react this way and not that way.
Me, I feel like I can.
Me
I
too.
don't want you to shout at me.
I don't want you to laugh at me.
I don't want you to be mean.
It can happen. I can be mean. I can laugh at it.
It's a difficult one. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna speak for myself, but then I speak about men here.
Yeah.
Men, sometimes we tend to be insensitive about certain things.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's us. You'd say something, I would laugh about it, but then it wouldn't necessarily mean or say that I'm not taking that serious. And I don't see, the sensitivity of what, you just shared. So I would say you shouldn't necessarily expect, a reaction that's, somehow in your mind. You should be open towards, everything. After all, when you share your feelings, or I may say, you share what's really showing your vulnerability, it should be authentic. So in as much as you are sharing what's, authentic, you should expect, authentic reaction.
But then it goes back to what Sibukazi was saying, like, what if their authentic reaction is now them being rude or being mean? Like, that also affects how...
That's how you're feeling about what you just shared. It's authentic. Come on. We'll cross that bridge. if I am, angry or disappointed at what you just shared with me, I should show the disappointment. Otherwise, I'm not being real with you. I'm not being, authentic with you.
Agree to disagree.
No, but it's actually true. Whenever you are about to reveal something to someone, you need to be ready for any kind of reaction. Or this person might even go as far as maybe cut things off with me because of what I'm about to say. Mario, you say it anyway.
I think we should be worried about if this person would be respectful. You should be, respectful. No matter how, furious I might be or however I may feel, I should be respectful towards,
At least.
how I respond towards that. So I think we should be worried about that. If this person's going to be respectful about this, would this person still, look at me the same way?
No.
Will they still trust me?
When it comes to being open and like vulnerable and allowing someone in, I don't think anyone can see you the same way as they saw you before. But that's okay. Like, it's supposed to change. Like, you're supposed to develop. You're supposed to grow together. You're supposed to, like, people are not going to love you the way they loved you a year ago or 3 years back, but it's gonna evolve. So I don't think that someone, if I'm gonna say something personal about me, that the person should still look at me the same. Because then it's like kind of like a false reaction, can I say? Like, you're not being true to yourself. Because if I know like what I'm saying is bothering you, like I know like what I just said is like hurtful to you. Because let's say for an example, let's say, okay, let's make an example of I was a bully when I was in primary school and you were a victim of it.
Why?
You see, no, I was a tiny person. I was like, yeah, but anyway, so I still am tiny, but anyway, so like it's gonna affect and change the way that person views me. But it's like, would you still love me even though you know this about me? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I agree with you 100%, Siobhan. But I do feel like when somebody comes to you and has also communicates with, hey, I want to be vulnerable and I'm going to open up in something. Now, as a person receiving that, please react with caution. It's, you are told, okay, no, I'm about to receive information. I might not like it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna respect it, and we're gonna work through this. This person didn't come to tell me this because they wanted to mess up my day. No, it's a state of vulnerability. Like I like the question that they usually tell us to ask. Can you make space for me right now? And then you've made space. You're not there to be judgmental. You're not there to give me your first reaction, but you're there to just give me space for me to share what I need to say. And then we work through it together because I've been vulnerable with you. If that makes sense.
And I think with the person that's like on the receiving end, I feel like that person should also be like, okay, if this person is going to say like, okay, Thabo, I'm going to tell you something and it's something that's, makes me very vulnerable but I feel like I really want to tell you. I feel like Thabo then should know that, man, it has taken this person a lot to get to this point in order to want to open up about this. So when you consider that fact, then it's like, then I feel like you have like a not calm reaction, depending on what the person tells you, but the way that you think you are going to respond, like maybe being rude or be like, oh, why didn't you tell me this sooner? Then you can just take it in and like be calm and then discuss it and like go over it.
Yeah. That is true. I think we can't get away from the fact that such things are sort of risky. There's an element of risk behind coming to a person and being open to them. So it works better when both parties are sort of aware of the riskiness of that situation. So I think the sooner we accept that part of that situation being risky, maybe things will work out better both the person who's confessing and the recipient to it.
True. I'm thinking of I don't know if it's a scripture or quote, it's both. But it speaks about how we need to have control of ourselves, control of our bodies. And I think it also comes from, I think it plays a good role when it comes to also receiving information. Like we have control of our emotions and our reactions. Because then that's when we're going to be able to react correctly in a manner that would be not offensive and would show respect to the person that is giving information. So, receiver has a responsibility to communicate, and as well as the sender has a responsibility to communicate, and then the receiver has the responsibility to control their reaction.
Yeah.
In my summary. Yeah.
So how do you personally define vulnerability? Is it about honesty, risk, or letting go of control?
It can be any of those. It's actually all of them.
I agree. I feel like it's a risk. It's really easy risk because you don't know how the person responds, like you're saying, and also don't know if that person's gonna like betray you and use what it is that you said against you.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
My thoughts. I think I agree with you. I agree with all of you. Yeah. I agree with all of you. It's risky.
Can you maybe think of examples where a person is sort of being vulnerable? Maybe in a relationship kind of setting, family relationships, romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Maybe a bishop and somebody who's sort of confessing. What kind of examples are we thinking?
For me, the one that I can like automatically think of is my younger sister. Like Ayoki's like what? She's 14 now. And there's some things that she's like, oh my gosh, I want to tell my big sister, but I don't know how she's gonna react. Because Linda, I have this thing of strict program. So I understand how sometimes she can like fear to not tell me the complete story. But I think we've gotten to a point where she has come to tell me, she'd be like, okay, Sipo, I want to tell you, but I'm scared of your reaction. And then that cools me down and I'm like, okay, I'm here to listen to you. What happened? Talk to me. So now I'm also in a state where I'm just like, I'm not going to overreact and I'm not going to tell her what to do when it's already done. That's also another thing, a tendency that I caught myself doing. When somebody's telling you, oh, I said this and this and this, you should have said this and this and this instead. And you're then like, I'm done. Want us to go back? I'm done. So just to also avoid that thing where it's just like, man, she just needs a listening ear right now.
Yeah.
And then from there onwards, then I can share my opinion. Yeah. But not coming full force or angry just because a boy's name was never mentioned. Yo.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's a good example of a whole honesty and risk and her letting go.
I think in some cases, for me, like kind of going off on one table kind of thing, I think on some cases and a lot of other people as well, some people tend to be more open and vulnerable with their friends than with their family.
Yes.
So I kind of like when you were saying about your younger sister. Like I like that you used that example because for me, the first thing that comes to mind is friends. Because I'm more vulnerable with them than I am with like. Because I think with my family, it's just very reaction. Like they always just react, But with my friends, it's like they really like, okay, they're going to listen, they're not going to judge, and they're going to try and understand where I'm coming from. And I think it's so difficult because, like, I think your family they love you so much and they always want to see you in this perfect light. And then it's like, the minute you do something that shows that you're not perfect, it's like, yeah, no, we're going to now show you that we are mad. And it's like, that now prevents me from telling you anything else that happens in my life.
Yeah.
Fair.
Speaking of reaction, it's just, a general question. Do you think generally as people, we are more inclined to react than act?
Yes.
React then act.
Yes.
No, than act.
Like
We react more than we
Yeah.
act.
Yeah. We do.
isn't reaction an action?
I guess what
Yeah.
he's trying to say is the difference between, you know, being that outburst versus somebody who's sort of absorbing what you are saying and then thinking about what they have to say and then saying something. You
Yeah.
know.
It's like taking a minute to react
Yes.
versus immediately
Just
reacting.
snapping.
Like, you can still take a minute and react because of you did not think things, you know, thoroughly.
Okay.
I mean, if you are telling me something, I don't need to, you know, immediately,
Say
you
or
know,
whatever
shout
comes
or
to
say
your
whatever I
mind.
want to. If I'm
Yeah.
doing that, I'm reacting,
Fair.
you know. So I'm just trying to ask if, you know, as people, we are more inclined to react or to act. As far as, you know, you've been meeting with people or even your friends.
I think we're all different, and as well as also different circumstances. For instance, if you were to sit me and my mom, nah,
Okay.
and my mom being the motherly and protective mama bear, if I were to be like, yo, mommy, something went, where's that person, you know, that's how my mom would react.
Mine
But
also.
then if maybe it was a thing of like, oh, mommy, something else way different out of topic happened, she'd be like, okay, tell me more about that, you know. So I think it's different circumstances, different
Okay, that's a fair point.
different
Different
reactions
people.
and
Yeah.
different, like we different, yeah, and different people.
Okay.
Like,
Makes sense.
yeah, so we are inclined as people to react for sure, because there's no person that you're gonna tell something big to and the light bulb doesn't go. No, I don't believe that.
Okay. Perfect.
And remember, we naturally have a tendency to not like being judged
Yes.
or condemned, you know, for coming out with certain issues or topics to people. So naturally, like we don't want to be, you know, ostracized, you know, emotionally or spiritually, sometimes even temporarily. Because some people can disown a certain member because of, you know, coming out with, you know, being gay for
Yeah.
examples.
Well,
So yeah, so there's that also that issue.
So now I wanted to know, like, was there a difference between oversharing and vulnerability?
There is.
There is. Tell us more. What is the difference between it?
Again, I think it depends more on where you are, the circumstance.
Okay.
There are certain things that you can't just share with like people that you just met. kind of
Okay.
thing. Although
Fair.
people can, you know, sort of do that. People can overshare to a point where it sort of risks their safety, for example. Some people can show off their wallets to people that they don't really know at a club or something. That's sort of oversharing. And then the next thing you know, there's people following them and then they rob them. All because they showed something that they weren't supposed to show to certain people. So it's a time and place kind of thing, and also the people that you're with. You can't just share certain things.
I never looked at it that way.
I
I'd say
agree with that.
with the whole circumstances, it could be actually dangerous to you. Okay. And vulnerability isn't with the intention of it becoming dangerous, right?
Yeah.
But wait, I wanna know, when it comes to like a family, friend context, or someone that you're in a relationship with, then what is the difference between oversharing and being vulnerable?
It will obviously depend on how much you trust that person. It will depend on the quality of your relationship with that person. Then you will decide, you know, how much is too much information and how much is too little information. How much is this person willing to absorb what I'm about to tell them, kind of thing. You know, so it's, you have to weigh the risk as best as you can. If needs be, if you are a spiritually inclined person, perhaps pray about it and then maybe decide from there if it is the right time and the right person to sort of say this thing.
Yeah. I like that you said that. To think, like, as you were talking, I'm like, what about people like me that just fall in love like immediately? Like, oh my gosh, like I want to share everything, show you everything, you know? I'm just an open book. But as they're saying, Nuti, pray about it. It's like, don't be so hasty.
Yeah.
And I think that's only safe and healthy. Maybe I have gotten to a point where I've glorified the idea of, I'm just ask me anything and I'll be an open book. But in actual facts, not being hasty is healthy. It's okay to take your time, observe, and that's another way to keep me safe, and also use the spirit of discernment in all of that. So you ate with that.
Okay. So when it comes to being vulnerable, does being vulnerable always have to include someone else, or can you be vulnerable with yourself?
Oh, that's a good one.
I think everything eventually starts with ourselves. Sometimes we are afraid to tap into a certain part of ourselves that we are ashamed of.
Yeah.
We have to come to terms with it. I may have a problem with this issue, I have a problem with that issue. You have to sort of accept it first, on your own terms, at your own time. Again, if you are spiritual, just pray about it and then converse it to a higher power. It eventually starts with you. You have to admit, I have a problem with smoking, I have a problem with gambling, I have a problem with pornography. You have to start alone first. Accept it first, and then you can have the courage to share it with whoever you decide to share it with.
True, and I think if you don't acknowledge it yourself, it's not going to get to the point where you're sharing it with someone because you yourself are in denial of what's happening.
Because it's difficult, because you have to sort of, I don't want to say shame yourself now, you have to sort of like be to a point where you realize, this is actually wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. I can do better. You see, you have to sort of have that sort of conversation with yourself and come to a conclusion. Oh, this is wrong. By yourself, and then you can have the courage to say it.
I think it's all about self-introspection. Just need to self-introspect, and also look at if that thing it's aligning with your set of principles. Wanting to believe that each and every person have such principles that you live according to, then you can start being vulnerable with yourself. I think it's called introspection, because as you do self-introspection, you thoroughly look for you dive deep into yourself as you do that. Yeah, so it's basically self-introspection.
I like that you named it that. I think, being vulnerable with yourself is also a skill. In other words, being self-aware, you know? Being self-aware and knowing, okay, this is where I lack and this is where I want to be better. And I like also what Relax said about, accepting that part of you. First, it's the acceptance starts with you, and then once you're able to be vulnerable with you can most probably also be vulnerable with others, because now you're living your truth. You're living you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to feeling understood. What does it feel like in your body when you truly feel understood?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. So
Like,
I feel like we all want to be understood. In other words, people would say, I would want to be seen also. I hear that often, Imagine being able to communicate something, not even being clear word to word with it, but then already that person can be able to, understand you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is actually what you mean. And you're able to communicate something, and at that point what you need it, or what you need, it's for that person to just listen, not to say anything, not to have comment, and then that person already gets that without you having to say that, Sipo, I didn't need you to actually comment or say anything. I just need you to listen. That's being understood. Sometimes being understood, it doesn't mean that, someone should share their thoughts or anything. But then you can just, go to a certain extent that person just listens. Because they know that's what you need now.
When I think of being understood, I don't think of it as in like somebody understanding my next move all the time. Like, I feel like, yeah, because he was able to get it once. Go to, oh my gosh, when I do this, I'm nervous. Or when I do that, I'm this. Like, I think those little things definitely do make me feel like I'm understood. Like, you understand what kind of a person I am and how I react. But also, even those people that come once in a blue moon and they're like, damn, I get what you're going through. Like, that is so relatable. That is so hard. And you just be like, I know, right? Like, that's the moment when also I feel like I'm being understood, when somebody can make me feel like I'm making sense. If I feel like, if you can reassure me that I am making sense, I feel the most understood.
Yeah, I think as human beings, we all want to be in an environment where at least somebody, if not everyone, understands us. It's very important that we are in, most of the time, or in every way, we need to be in a place where we can at least have somebody we trust enough that you don't have to explain yourself so much to get your point across. Somebody that you can just say a few words, then they already know, okay, this person means this. That's very important that we have such a circle, somewhere in our lives.
So true.
Okay. With all that being said, can one be understood and have a disagreement with that person?
Yes.
And also, how does that feel? Especially if it's someone who naturally they understand you, but then they can still say, you know what, I disagree with you and come into that.
I think that's okay. For my instance now, I think of my friend now. Like, this morning I shared something with her that really, really disturbed me, and she told me, she's like, oh my gosh, I totally understand how you're feeling, but you're wrong. You see, that thing was, but you're wrong. I'm just so grateful that I have people that are able to still tell me, Guti, there's something that I'm doing wrong. She's not taking away how I feel, and she's not making me feel as if whatever you're feeling is unreliable. No. But the fact of the matter, my action was wrong.
Yeah.
So I do believe strongly, Guti, we can disagree, but still, maintain that vulnerability and that also that understanding.
Yeah, I think it's important to have people that would at least see something that you're saying at a different lens. You can't be around people who always see things the same way that you do. There has to be a different lens to this thing that you're saying. It's healthy, to know, okay, it's important to have people who at least sort of disagree with me, but in a way that we are both having a conversation about it, that no one is trying to overpower the other person. So yeah.
So now I want to ask the last question of what can we do to be more vulnerable for those that are around us?
Okay.
How can we?
Good question. What comes to my mind is undivided attention. I think of, making sure that you give that person attention, to reassure them that you are there and you're with them. Think of maybe, let's say, you want to be vulnerable with me when I'm at home. I should make sure if we were watching a movie, the TV was on, to turn it off.
Those little small actions, yeah.
Most definitely. If I have pets, I'll, make sure that I put pets somewhere because they tend to be, also needing attention. Yeah. So I reassure you that, I'm here and I'm with you. You can most definitely, be vulnerable. Share whatever you want to share.
I like that.
That's what I'm thinking of.
For you, Siobhan?
For me, I would say one way that I can help them is also just like putting your phone away and like giving them like making sure that like there's no distractions, like Thabo actually suggested. Yeah, just making sure that there's no distractions, making sure that whatever it is that they're gonna tell me, I have to remember that it might have taken a lot for them to open up. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I think I'll come back to what you said earlier on, that they need to feel that they are loved about everything. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for them to open up, despite what we do.
Yeah.
So we need to reassure them that whatever they say, that they are loved.
No, I agree with what you guys said. I hope like as we had our discussion, it was helpful to our listeners. And yeah, please do also feel free to comment how you feel like it will be helpful for you. To how would you like to be treated in a space that will make you more safe and more vulnerable? So please go ahead and drop some comments down below.
Comment, like, and subscribe. And we hope that you enjoyed this podcast. And from us as a podcast team, don't forget to
Be the spring that gives life to your own soul. Bye.
Nah.